Welcome to the Way Out Recovery Hour. I'm Bob Sheritz, and I'd like to wish everyone a happy Monday. Isn't it nice? You know, it's cooling down out there. We're not having. I walked out of my office today to come over to the radio. I don't know, probably 11 o'clock. And the first thing that I noticed was I wasn't hit by that wave of, it's hot today. So I'm really grateful for that. And one of the things that I like to do on Monday is remind everyone that although Monday gets a bad rap because we get this story playing in our head that, oh my God, I got all this stuff to do this week, I want to sort of reframe that and give you an opportunity to utilize Monday as an opportunity to get really grateful. So if you're on your lunch break right now, or if you have a moment, just step outside, put your face up to the sun, breathe in that beautiful air, and think about all the things in your life that you have to be grateful for, and also all the opportunities that we are going to face this week to get things done and to interact with people. And maybe the most important thing is to help and really spend the time interacting and those personal relationships that we face as we go through the week. I don't think that there's anything that's more important than the person that's sitting right in front of us. So slow down in your life and appreciate that person sitting in front of you and be grateful for this incredible life that we have. That's not always easy to do if you're in the middle of the throes of addiction or if you have other mental health issues going on. We understand that better than anyone. If you or someone you love is suffering with any substance abuse issues, mental health issues, teen issues, please give us a call. We're at 661-296-4444. That's 296-4444. If you're out and about in public, drop on by our office. We love when people drop by. We always have coffee going and love to chit-chat about what's going on good in your life or any issues that we might be able to help with. We're on the corner of Plum and Bouquet Canyon, 28118 Bouquet Canyon Road. And if you want to drop me an email, bob@thewayoutrocoveryscv.com. You can also go to our website at thewayoutrocoveryscv.com. You can submit for a free confidential assessment, or you can send a confidential email on there as well, and I'll answer you as quickly as I possibly can. The point of all that is don't be afraid to ask for help. You know, asking for help is absolutely the first step. There are so many wonderful resources in our community and people that are willing to help. You know, I've been in the Santa Clarita Valley my entire life, and I don't think that there's any other place that compares to how many wonderful programs we have and how willing people are to help you if you just ask for the help. So if you or someone you love is struggling, please ask for help. You're listening to us on 98.1 KHTS, FM 98.1 or AM 1220, but don't forget that you can download the KHTS app on your smart device, and you can get news, weather, up-to-date information, cool songs, and great shows like this one. I'm really excited about our show today. We have in studio with us Tim and Nikki from A Light of Hope. A Light of Hope is a nonprofit organization in our community that helps parents and youth ages 14 to 26. Ages 14 to 26 with a multitude of issues. Substance abuse is one of them. Mental health issues is one of them. But anything that you might be going through as a youth or as a parent, these guys are the place to go. So, we work very closely with the Light of Hope, and we love this organization. I've seen so many miracles come out of you guys' program. And so when we come back after this break, we're going to get to know these guys a little bit better, get to know about A Light of Hope and what they have coming up and how you can be a part of that program. Again, one of the wonderful programs in our community out here in Santa Clarita. Before I go on this break, I want to remind everyone, I know that if you're paying attention to the news, there's been another confirmed death in California, this one in Los Angeles County, as a result of vaping products. Those harmless vapes aren't so harmless if you're paying attention. We're starting to find out the real real truth about them. And so if you are concerned or interested about that, or you have a kid who's doing it, or you're concerned about somebody else, or you yourself are wondering, how the heck do I stop doing this stuff, and you want to know the truth about vaping, I will be the primary speaker. I'm going to be at an event, and I'll be the speaker. My host will be Captain Lewis from the Sheriff's Department, and also the mayor will be there giving a little talk as well. This coming Wednesday, September the 11th at 6 p.m. at City Hall, we are doing an event called The Truth About Vaping, and Head in the Clouds, right? Everybody's got their head in the clouds. They think it's safe. And we're finding out that it's not so safe. And so show up and get the truth about vaping and find out if you're vaping, how you can stop. If you have a loved one that's doing it, information that you can give them or get them to stop, and also information that you can give yourself or your teenagers so that they don't start. So that event is this coming Wednesday, 6 p.m. at City Hall. There will be a bunch of resources there as well in some of the wonderful organizations, including a Light of Hope. You guys will have a table there as well, correct? And so show up for that event. When we come back, we will get to know a Light of Hope a little bit better. I'm Bob Sheritz. This is the Way Out Recovery Hour. We'll be back in a few minutes.
At iLead Agua Dulce, we believe the most important thing a child can learn in school is who they are. Life's real tests are never standardized, which is why we've developed an individual-based curriculum that values exploration, cooperation, and creativity. As our learners grow, so do we. Our tuition-free charter school is currently enrolling grades TK through 7th and adding 8th grade in 2020. Your young learner will be immersed in a unique environment where possibility and self-discovery are at the core of every experience. The Agua Dulce campus features beautiful indoor and outdoor spaces for hands-on inspiration, including a robotics lab, a garden bed, a greenhouse, and a technology-based exploratorium. iLead Agua Dulce is conveniently located on the east side of the Santa Clarita Valley, just off the 14 freeway. Check out our homeschool options too. To schedule a campus tour or learn more about our programs, visit ileadaguadulce.org. We're enrolling now. iLead Schools. Free to think, inspired to lead.
Aloha, friends. Go check out Honu Coffee, home of the best cold brew coffee. What makes their coffee special is how their organic coffee beans are infused with nitrogen to create a smooth and delicious cup of coffee. You'll also find traditional bold coffees and island-inspired signature drinks. They're the perfect place to catch up with friends or just relax with your favorite cup of joe. Honu Coffee on Lyons and Walnut in Newhall. Stop by and say aloha.
And now for your convenience, a second Honu location at 23502 Lyons Avenue between Peachland and Apple.
Your hometown station.
I love my Dodgers on KHTS.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
I got no excuses.
Welcome back to the Way Out Recovery Hour. I'm Bob Sheritz, and you are listening on FM 98.1 or AM 1220. You can also download the free KHTS app on your tablet or smart device, and you can watch this podcast later on, or you can pick up any of the stuff that we've done either on the Way Out Recovery SCV Facebook page or KHTS Radio Facebook page. Excuse me, I just ate a donut before we came on. So, or after today, a Light of Hope's Facebook page will also be tagged on this video as well, so you'll be able to find it there. But you can always find this show at hometownstation.com and look for the podcast. We've been doing this for a couple of years, so welcome to the show. I'm excited today to have you guys in with us. I don't have you on the show enough, Tim, and I'm glad you brought Nikki with you today. Tell us who you guys are.
Well, we are a Light of Hope, and we so appreciate you having us.
So you're the founder, right?
I am the president and founder of Light of Hope that came out of our own family struggles with addiction, with a couple of my daughters really struggling. And we just felt there was a need to start an organization that provided support for the parents and young people.
It's hard to see that. So it's sort of a double-edged sword. I wouldn't wish tragedy on anybody, right? Or struggle on anybody. But isn't it amazing that if we're paying attention, out of the seemingly most difficult struggles in our lives, that's where the most beautiful things are born, right? Because there's this like desperation to like, oh my God, what do we do? And this willingness to do whatever. And so a light of hope was not just, we're sitting around chit-chatting with coffee and go, hey, let's have this great idea. Like your kids were struggling and your family was struggling, and you were having some difficulty finding solutions. And so a light of hope was born out of that.
Exactly. It was really getting hard for us to really pilot our way through that journey, and not having anybody to really kind of guide us and give us direction and help us find out what works and what doesn't when you're dealing with addiction and mental health issues and cutting and all the things that can go along with that area was really, really hard. And we needed support as parents, and our kids needed support as young people. And we didn't have that.
Right.
So we took our own pain and what we had gone through as a family and decided to, like you said, turn it into something really beautiful and good. And that's provide a place for families to come and get what we wish we could have had when we were going through it as a family.
And that's not to say that there weren't programs around, but how many years ago was this coming up? It's
10
like 10?
years.
10 years ago, right? A lot of the programs that existed back then were, first of all, few and far between.
Yes.
And there was a real sort of tough love model that was out there.
Yes.
Take everything away from them and really, sort of a punishment, and then they got to earn it back kind of programs were out there. And although those can be effective for some, they're not the best fit for everybody, right? And so one of the reasons that the way out was born is sort of out of that same thing, is we wanted to create a non-punitive, more loving, less shaming, inviting environment. And so when we started up and I started having talks with you about kind of partnering up and seeing if we could help mutual clients together, it was like a perfect fit, because you guys have created that in a light of hope, that sort of environment. And that's what your kids needed, right?
Yes, it's exactly what they needed. We really stress to our parents in dealing with their children that less is more. And we use LES as kind of the acronym for it: love, encourage, and support. Whatever you're doing, if it doesn't fall into that criteria, don't do it.
Right.
It needs to come from a loving place, an encouraging place, or a supportive place. And we found out, it's a different generation of young people than, my generation, and the way you deal with them. We're learning so much more about addiction and what works and what doesn't in dealing with it. And I think what you're hearing so much across the country, they're talking a lot about how connection is a big part of helping in recovery.
Community and connection and all of that. I think that may be the most important component to the recovery process, at least for me, is my community.
Yes.
The other recovering people that I can speak that language with, that get it, right? And I do know this about addiction as well, is that I think the primary driving force behind addiction is shame. I don't know anybody who's caught up in a behavior that's addictive that doesn't on some level not want to be doing that. And so if there's a part of you that goes, God, I don't want to live like this, but you can't get out of that, you're just driven by shame. You're just like, I'm such a loser or something like that. And so I don't need to walk into a place that's going to tell me I'm stupid, bad, and crazy. I need to walk into a place that's going to tell me I'm a beautiful, loving human being who needs to learn a new path, right? And I need love when I walk in the door.
Yeah,
and
that's so true. We had a young gal the other night just get her first 30 days. And she, at the end of her presentation for her first 30 days, we give them what's called a monkey's fist, which is this leather necklace when they get their first 30 days. She said, you know what? She says, this is my family now. This is my community now. What has been so helpful for her was to have that sense of community, that sense of family, because a lot of young people in the midst of this lose that family connection. They lose a sense of community. Some of them they isolate themselves and they get away from having those needed connections. So when they find something that's real, honest, transparent, loving, encouraging, and supportive, they just attract to that.
Right.
And that's why we use that alternative peer group recovery model, because this is an alternative peer group, not only for the young people, but for the parents as well, where they find like-minded individuals who have been through similar circumstances, And the commonality amongst the parents and the commonality amongst the youth is pain and shame. Shame for the parents, too.
Right.
What did I do wrong? How did I cause this?
I think you hit on that too, though, because after these teenagers separate themselves from the kids that they hang out with, where they were smoking pot or whatever it is they were doing, they feel like they don't have friends anymore. And I think A Light of Hope creates a new environment for them to meet new people that are like-minded. They can go out and do activities through our programs, but they feel like they already have instant friends.
Yeah, well, and you know what's cool about it from my end, who, like, I interact with a lot of different families that are looking for places to go. And I, as a treatment provider who's providing resources, I like to be able to say, because parents always say this, I'm scared to send my kids to those kind of, because they're going to meet people that are doing drugs. They're going to hang out with those people, right? And I'm not, so when I say this, I'm not being a smart aleck or trying to be a jerk about it, but I will say to the parents, I will say, you know, your kids are those kids, right? And they go, well, wait a minute. I go, look, they're not bad people. And I can truthfully say that if I send a kid to Light of Hope, they're not gonna, it's not a bad influence. They're not going to be over in a corner secretly getting worse, right? They're not going to be conspiring behind the program's back or getting away with stuff. It is loving and kind and supportive, but it is also structured. Yes. And it's also like the people who run the program are paying attention to what's going on. It's not a free-for-all for your kids. And so I can comfortably send teenagers there or youth there, and I can also assure the parents, and I know that that's what I'm getting from A Light of Hope. Something else that we were talking about before the show, Nikki, is, you know, you mentioned parent support as well, and you had something to say about the component of parents at A Light of Hope and how that's so important. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, well, so I think what's really important is the fact that A Light of Hope is unique in the sense that it provides resources for not just the child, but for the parent too. And you just touched on something about those kids. I think any kid can be those kids because they are kids. So I think this idea that my kid won't do that or I've done all the right things could segue into a kid just being a kid. Right. So the nice part of A Light of Hope is you feel probably shame. So you don't know what to do as a parent, and then you don't want to send your kid to this program because you have that fear. A Light of Hope provides an environment where you can also participate in programming with those kids' parents. So not only are your kids finding new people to spend time with and to get through recovery, you also are finding other like-minded parents that are going through the recovery process as well.
And if if you have a young adult or a teenager that is having some issues and you want to be a part of Light of Hope, but your kid is not ready to do that yet, or they're refusing, or they're just like, I'm not going to that program, the parents can still show up too anyway, right? That's encouraged?
Absolutely. And I tell the parents that 80% of what they're going to learn in our parent support groups is how to get their life back.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with the kid, right?
It doesn't. You know, as soon as they walk through that door, they want the ingredients to solve it, to fix their kid in a way everything's going to be fine. Right. But really what's the most important thing is really helping those parents get their life back, giving them healthy tools that work, not things that don't work. We call the addiction and the self-destructive behaviors, we call that the monster.
Right.
And we teach our parents how to starve the monster, not feed the monster. And I think as a parent, before I learned any tools, I was really good at feeding the monster of addiction and the struggles that my kids were going through because I didn't know any different.
Yeah.
I was trying to do all these things, and I thought because they were loving and because it was what I thought would work and was the right thing to do, because that's just what I thought as a parent, that, you know, that's what should happen, and it didn't. It wasn't working. It was making things really worse for my kids because of the way that I would lecture them and engage with them and argue with them, and in some cases, I have to personally admit, I shamed my kids. Like, you know, look what you're doing. Look what you're doing to our family.
That's so hard that right there, especially, you know, this new generation, I think is going to, this next generation coming up is going to have this, but, you know, it's hard. It's been hard for me to unlearn that with my own kids, and to give that in treatment is to not do that kind of stuff, because I grew up with that. right? And I, in a big part of my own addiction, I spent so much of it like beating myself up in the hopes that if I made myself feel bad enough about what I was doing, that it would stop me from doing it. But it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
I think the shame of other people knowing. I think sometimes as a parent, we're more afraid of what people are going to think of us as a parent, that they must have done something wrong or there's something going on at home that reflects it. I think that shame is more shameful than owning it as the parent, is what is everybody else going to think? And that kind of goes into the way you approach it with your kids. And that's why I think there's anger and resentment and look at all these things you're doing wrong instead of really looking at the underlying issue.
It's funny. When I went through school for all my addiction stuff, I learned that kind of dynamic, but I really, really learned it when I first heard it from a parent being really honest in a family group that I was doing. And I heard a parent say, all the stuff that I've been doing has not been about them. It's been about me and wondering how I'm going to reflect to everybody else as a parent. And when we can just get in there and hear other parents and go, oh, it happens to the best of parents. We're not bad people because our kids have an addiction or have some other issue. We're not bad parents. We're doing the best we can. Could we use some more tools? Of course, we all can, right?
Right.
And that's really neat when parents get it. And I love that. Again, we're in conjunction in our teachings at the Light of Hope at a Light of Hope as well as at the Way Out. In our family groups, in the teen family groups, the first thing that I do with new parents when I get them in there is I tell them, if you're sitting in the room today, you are not here for your kid. And they go, well, what do you mean? He or she brought us here. And I go, yeah, but you're going to learn some tools for you that are going to benefit your life, whether or not your kid makes any changes.
Absolutely.
Whether or not, right? Because the boundaries that we teach parents are boundaries, with anybody. Healthy boundaries are for the person, not for who they're giving it to. If I don't have the same healthy boundary with my kid that I have for a perfect stranger, then they're not in conjunction, right? And so a lot of times I'll say, okay, if you were renting a room so young adults especially, right, and their parents, if you're renting a room to a perfect stranger, what would be okay in your house? Would it be okay if they were smoking heroin in your bathroom? No, but yet it's okay for your kid to do that, right? And so they go, they don't know how to get that, and they go, oh. So we teach them to be consistent, and that's neat, man, and to do that with love, right?
Yeah, we tell all of our parents that they're in recovery also.
Yes, they are.
When they walk into the room, I say, each one of you are in recovery. So when we talk about us being in recovery or even us relapsing, because we learn tools and we try to make these changes in our parenting that are more beneficial to creating an environment that's more conducive in our home to recovery and to healing, that sometimes it's hard to make that transition. You want to go there and get in that argument and you're working on it and you've done pretty good for the last couple of days, and all of a sudden you get triggered and you just lose it.
Right.
And and we kind of get a feel as parents a little bit of what the struggle must be like for our kids that are struggling with addiction, struggling with self-harm.
Well, it is the
same.
same.
Stop that. It is the same. Absolutely.
Yeah. Are you participating in some behavior that you wish you didn't participate in, but sometimes you do it and can't help it? It's the same thing. It's the same thing that's going on. And then you go, oh, what did I do? And you beat yourself up for it, right? And then that shame keeps it going. So we have to unhook from that.
And then when you get to come to a group, a community, a family like a Light of Hope or the Way Out Recovery, you find a place where you can quickly find support. Nobody's there to shame you. Everybody's going to go, I get you. I'm one of you. I've done that.
Well, wasn't it a relief for you as a parent when you walked into that first whatever you found, the group that you found, and you heard other people talking about stuff that you were like, oh, I would never say that out loud, right? Right. And you're like, oh, it's okay.
Right.
Oh, I can talk about that stuff.
There's a lot of things said in group that you would never say
true.
to another person or a family member outside of group, because you know what? They won't get it.
Right.
Unless you are one, unless you're an addict, a person that cuts, or a parent of a child that's struggling with self-destructive actions and behaviors, they won't understand what you go through. They won't understand the fear that you feel as a parent, the loneliness that you can feel, even the isolation as parents, when you start to pull away from the things you used to do in life and start to just make your whole focus on trying to fix your kid, you lose your life in that journey, and it gets really lonely in that journey because there's no, you feel like there's no help. I'm drowning in trying to save my kid.
Right.
And so that becomes your whole focus. And once you can start to heal from that and start to get some tools that work, you start to get your life back from that insanity, and you start to get peace again in your life. And that's what helps us as parents on this journey be the most effective at providing an environment around our kids to help them in their recovery.
Yeah.
So
It's really like a rebirth of your life. And I've seen that just being at Elida Hope for almost 4 years. You'll see parents come in completely lost, frustrated, same with the kids. And then you see over time them work through the program. And it's almost like you mentioned earlier, the worst things become some of the greatest blessings. It's a rebirth of the entire family, and it's actually pretty spectacular to watch.
Yeah, it's neat when somebody's willing to do that. You know, when they let go of all the old ideas and go, okay, we don't, as parents, we've been doing the best we can, but we haven't been armed with the tools that we need, and we've been going about it. You know, for somebody to go, okay, I've been wrong. Let's try something new. It's so relieving when they let go, because that's when the change takes place.
Right. And to let go, I think first and foremost, you see the biggest change in shame. What is everyone else going to think of me as a parent, and what did I do wrong, and what could I have done better, when realistically they come to the terms that kids make these decisions. It's nothing that you could have done or done differently. Kids are kids, and they're individuals, and they make their own choices.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I know about people struggling with addiction, or parents of, or loved ones, or whatever, at any given moment, through all our mistakes and everything, at any given moment, I am doing absolutely the best I can with what I have.
Right.
And to give that information to parents and say, look, you are not a bad parent. You've done the best that you possibly can, and stop beating yourself up. You know, here's where we are. Let's go move forward from here. It can be very relieving for parents to hear that, you know.
I think it's the most amazing statement in the world is to hear, you just feel a sense. If I even told you, like, you're a really great parent,
right,
you feel like, oh, someone thinks that about me. And I think that's something that should be said more.
Yeah, well, of course, right, of course. And so, listen, we're going to go on a break in about 2 minutes here. The nuts and bolts of A Light of Hope. Where am I at? How do I get there? What do I do?
Well, they can. We just moved to a new facility, which is located at 21176 Center Point Parkway, Unit 300. It's right up in Candy Country behind the Walmart off of Center Point. You can also go to our website at alightofhopescv.org. Also, you can download our free newsfeed app, which if you text the word ALOH to 555-888, you can download a free newsfeed app and stay in touch with what's happening with us at A Light of Hope. And when you become a part of the Light of Hope family, we have a private Facebook page, and I wanted to bring that up because there's over 100 parents on that,
right,
and they are active all day, almost every day, in supporting one another, encouraging words of support, guidance.
And it's a private group, so you can be completely open in there without worrying about confidentiality. We
have to invite you in.
Yeah, very, very cool. Okay, and is there a phone number to call?
Yes, it's 661-513-HEAL. It's 661-513-4325.
All right, I'm Bob Sheritz. This is the Way Out Recovery Hour. We've been listening to two of my friends from A Light of Hope. When we come back, we're going to get into how you guys can support this wonderful organization, how you can go to meetings, really cool events that are coming up. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Remember when you and your sweetheart would go ice skating, gliding across the ice hand in hand? Well, relive those magical moments at Ice Station Valencia during any of our daily public sessions. The Ice Station Coffee Club, our Monday to Friday noontime skate for adults only, is a great place to socialize while getting in healthy ice skating exercise. For beginners, there's a free skating lesson every Tuesday and Thursday. Ice Station, across the street from Valencia High. Call 775-8686 or check icestation.net for ice skating fun.
The Art Gallery of Santa Clarita Artists Association, located in downtown Newhall on 6th Street between Railroad and Main, features local members' original artwork with changing exhibits every 2 months. Purchase affordable art for your home or as gifts. Open Friday through Sunday or by appointment. Artists wishing to join the SCAA can visit santaclaritaartist.org, come to our free monthly meetings at Barnes & Noble, or stop by the gallery. For upcoming shows, check us out at santaclaritaartist.org. We make visual art visible.
Worried about paying for college? College of the Canyons is having a free financial aid workshop called Cash for College. Whether you are bound for a community college, four-year university, or private college, whether you are a student or a parent, this workshop is for you. Come to College of the Canyons Cash for College workshop, Tuesday, September 24th at 6:30 p.m. in the Santa Clarita Performing Arts Center at College of the Canyons. Visit canyons.edu/money for college. That's canyons.edu/money4college.
I listen to it all day, every day. Hometown, your hometown station.
I got no excuses.
Welcome back to the Way Out Recovery Hour. I'm Bob Sheritz, and if you are just joining us, do yourself a favor, and you can download this podcast or watch this podcast later on. I think it's on here by tomorrow. It'll be on hometownstation.com. You can find it on the Way Out Recovery SCV Facebook page. Or you can find it on KHTS Radio Facebook page. But if you are just joining us now, we have in studio with us Tim and Nikki from A Light of Hope, which is a local nonprofit parent and teen support, parent and youth. I was right up to 14 to 26 years old. Free community support that not only deals with substance abuse, but also mental health issues, cutting, any other self-harm, depression, anxiety, issues that are very common and kind of intertwined with each other, but certainly amongst youth. And so, they're a wonderful organization in our community. Your groups are at what time?
Our groups are twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. And we have a separate group for youth and young adults, 14 to 26, as you said, and then a separate group for parent family. And then on the weekends, we have what we call APG, activities and events, which we really believe is like a vital part of our young people's recovery, is to connect with this alternative peer group of young people. Is they go and do things every weekend. They went to the beach just recently, this last Saturday. They do frisbee, glow-in-the-dark frisbee at night. They've gone to Dodger games. They've gone snowboarding. It's all free. It's all paid for by A Light of Hope to encourage them to connect to that community of young people. Yeah. So it's really a powerful mixture of support groups, process groups, activities and events, and then they're constantly staying connected throughout the week. They have their own little group on the phone too, where they stay connected, and it really gives them a foundation to support the things that they're trying to overcome and the challenges they face in their lives.
So you can learn more about A Light of Hope by going to their website, alightofhopescv.org, and you can get all that information there as well. But if you just Google A Light of Hope Santa Clarita, it will pop up and you can see what's going on. Please get involved. Even if you're not a parent of a young adult or a teenager, and you don't necessarily need this organization, get yourself involved, because organizations like this benefit our community in so many different ways. You guys have a couple of different events. So Nikki, your role in A Light of Hope is fundraising.
Right.
What do you do?
Fundraising and events, and then on the board we work a lot to project what kind of events are. So the 5K, that's something that we don't need to really focus on. That's kind of self-supporting now. So now we're looking at new events to add to the calendar. One, to educate those who are not actively involved, and then two, to combine to get the actual board members as well as the participants and the kids and the parents involved in activities together. So that's our bowling event, which is October 27th. We're gonna it's gonna be at Valencia Lanes. We'll bowl together.
So Valencia Lanes is which one?
In Newhall.
Lions.
That's the one on Lions Avenue?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lions.
That
So
always throws people off.
Well,
I don't know why
I'll
it's
show
like that.
up at the wrong one.
Yeah,
Well, because it used to be Lions Bowl or something. It used to be something
they
different.
changed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna be a fun event. I haven't met a lot of the kids, and I've been involved for almost 4 years, so it'll be fun. We're gonna basically probably put a board member at every different lane, and then we'll rotate it out so that way we can meet the kids, they can meet us. Same with the parents, and it's gonna be really fun because it'll be the first time we've ever done this event. And
October 27th.
Right, and it's $25 per person. All the proceeds benefit A Light of Hope, and we'll also do a silent auction and then a live raffle, and we're gonna do Halloween themed.
Right.
So
And
costumes are encouraged.
Encourage costumes.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. That's Halloween weekend-ish.
Right.
Well, I don't know if it's on a weekend, but close.
So it'll be opened up to the whole community.
Right.
We only have a certain number of spots, but we do have the whole bowling alley.
Okay.
So we'd love to have them, give us a call and reserve tickets. And I don't have the exact number, but they can get a hold of us through our Light of Hope number, 661-513-4325, and leave a message. We'll get back to them on getting tickets to them.
And that's 4 p.m. on, you said 4 p.m. on the
October
27th?
20, yeah.
I'm real excited. So I'm a runner, so I'm real excited. Talk about Be the Light. A lot of people know about that, but I don't think a lot of people in the running community necessarily know that it is a benefit for A Light of Hope, because people just go out and run it because it's a 5K, 10K in our community. So talk a little bit about Be the Light.
Well, Be the Light, I think this is our 6th or 7th year of doing Be the Light, and it just keeps growing every year. I think we had almost 1,500 people show up last year. It'll be even bigger this year. And it is an event that is a fundraiser for A Light of Hope, but even more than that, than just raising money, it's about exposure to the fact that this community supports recovery.
Right.
And they come out knowing that what they're doing that night is out there supporting those in recovery. And the light that we bring that night, since it is kind of an evening event, is about bringing light into the darkness of recovery and letting those that are struggling with the kind of issues we've talked about today, that they're not alone, that we as a community support you all. And we're here for you. Yeah, they may be having fun and doing the run, the 5K or the 10K, but it's really about bringing a light to the issue of recovery, that there are places like the Way Out and A Light of Hope that people can go to and get the kind of support that they need. So it's really bringing that out. And at this event, there's some really great things. You're going to get an amazing medal. The medals this year are amazing.
Yeah, they're cool.
They're huge. They're big. They glow in the dark. The shirts are awesome. You get a finisher certificate. And you're going to be surrounded by everybody from the kids, a dog, strollers, to serious runners, and all of those are chip timed. So you get, if you're one of those serious runners and you want to see your time in the 5K or the 10K, you're going to get that opportunity. We give away medals to the winners of the different categories. There'll be light tunnels, which is part of the spectacular visual of this event, of these lit up tunnels that you literally run through as part of the event. So it really is a family event, but it also is a serious runner event as well. And
I think the first time I signed up for it, I signed up as a runner because I 10K, let's go run a 10K, right? Because my friends were running it. And then the last couple of years, and including this year, we have a little team going at the Way Out. If you want to sign up and be on the Way Out's team, go sign up to Be the Light and use the promotional code The Way Out, all caps. You'll get 10% off and be on our team. And our team is supportive. All the proceeds are going to A Light of Hope. So come be on the Way Out team. Some of our team members, we're going to get together and sort of walk the 5K, and I'm bringing my kids, and I just love this. And they love all the glow sticks and all the different stuff. So show up, decked out in your glowy outfits, because it is a glowing,
and
walk,
we have some really
run.
great sponsors, along with the Way Out being one of our sponsors. We also have Firehouse Subs that's been with us from the beginning, and is one of our big sponsors for that event. And there are others, but it also, if anybody out there would like to be involved as a sponsor in Be the Light, to just go to 5k.com, and there's a sponsorship drop-down menu. They can see all the different opportunities there are for sponsors to come set up a booth and be a part of that festive event that starts at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and goes to about 8:30, 9 o'clock that night. Right. So it really is an all-day event that you can really enjoy with your family or as an individual.
And for the dedicated walkers, and the dedicated crawlers, you can be on my team because I haven't run the mile since high school. So I don't have a link, but you'll see me there so you can walk with me.
Right.
Well,
cool.
I'll be done by the next day.
Yeah.
I think if we're going to keep Bob involved, though, when he started with us, he was just doing a 10K. Now he's doing these 50-milers, 100-milers, and things like that. So we've got to expand our.
I'm going to be on the snail team.
I'm the company that puts that on. Give them a little plug. New Global Adventures is I don't know how to pronounce their last name, but it's Terry and Jenny over there, right? And they put on a few different ones. Space Rock over at Vasquez Rocks. They do the arts run. They do Sugar Daddy and all those different. So New Global Adventures is a really, really cool. So I don't need you to expand the run to a bigger run. They put on a lot of runs that I can go run.
Well,
right?
I really want to thank them because we got to a place when we were running the event by ourselves, and they got so big. It took up a lot of our time, and so when we saw them and met them, they had come to one of our events and really liked what we had, and they didn't come to us to try to ask us. We actually went to them and said, "Hey, could you help us?" Right. And they have been wonderful at stepping up, not only raising the events, how it is, and all the things that go on. They bought some really neat glide arches and all kinds of neat things that make the experience really special. So they really liked our cause. They really wanted to support the cause of recovery and a light of hope, and they're really special people.
Yeah, they've also freed up our future, so that way we can start planning more events, more staple events aside from just that.
Well, I don't think people realize that because I've done a lot of stuff with like Alcoholics Anonymous or whatever, right? And where we put on conventions and we put all this stuff, and the planning and the volunteers and the stuff that goes into a half a day event is, it's a whole year's worth of work, right? And people don't realize that it takes a lot to put that kind of stuff on. And if you have an organization like that that'll step in and do it, that's just, that's incredible.
Yeah, it really has freed us up to do some of our other events.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Nikki, why don't you talk about some of the other events?
Yeah, what else are we doing? What else can we do for a light of hope?
Well,
we might be doing the golf thing next
So we
year.
are doing our first golf event, which will be awesome, and we're going to do it at Sand Canyon Country Club. It's in April. I don't have the date with me, but we're still in the beginning phases of planning that. So it'll be a day of golf, and then in the evening.
In 2020 next year?
Correct.
Yeah, cool.
And then we'll do, for those who don't golf, we'll do a gala afterwards, so a nice dinner to kind of talk about, for those who come who don't know much about A Light of Hope, we'll have stories, hopefully some speakers, we'll do some live auctions and raffles, and it'll be just a great night to celebrate our organization, and hopefully it'll be something we do every year, along with our first bowling event.
Yeah, these fundraising events are really important to us because we have no paid staff. We're all run by volunteers. The way that we can provide everything for free is to fundraise and donations and support we get from the community. And without that support, we could never offer what we offer, to allow these young people to go out on these activities and events every weekend for free, to provide resources and have a building and a place that people can come, has all been done because of the money that we've been able to raise through family support, community support, sponsors that support us. And these fundraising events are a vital part of making A Light of Hope continue to operate.
And, and just to sort of put this out there is another neat thing about the, volunteering and donating money and doing all that stuff is Light of Hope is an absolutely 100% completely transparent organization.
Yes.
So you know where your money's going.
Correct.
You can ask, where's my money going? You can see in real time where my money's going. If you have any questions about that, show up to the Tuesday or Thursday night and see what goes on over there. And you'll be amazed at, just watching the interaction with the kids, the interaction with the parents. You'll walk in and you'll hear the laughter, right? And maybe if you're new, if you're a parent that's struggling and you walk in and you hear that laughter, you might think, "Oh, am I in the wrong place or something?" Because there's nothing funny.
Well,
right?
there's either laughter or crying going on sometimes, so we get a little of both. We have a good balance.
Yeah, very cool.
I think that's important too about our board is unique as well. Any other board I've been a part of is, we do the work. Because there are no paid positions, which I think is important for people to know, that everything that's donated, all of the, the raffle items and all of the money that's donated for any event that we do, all those proceeds directly benefit this program, not a payroll. So, I think a lot of people always ask us where, when we do these raffle items, like where does the money actually go? It goes 100% into the programs.
Right. Well, and it's neat. When we were sitting out there getting introduced to each other, Nikki and I had asked you, are you a parent? Like, what's your involvement in this? And you said, I'm on the board. As a person, and Tim was talking earlier, kind of, if you haven't been through the stuff, right? Like it takes a lot to get it, but obviously you get it. What was your draw to becoming a board member? I mean, why this organization? Because you have experience in fundraising and you've worked with other organizations and things like that, right?
Right. Well, I think when I met with the board originally, my kids were in elementary school, and to be perfectly candid about it, every person I met had an amazing career. They, you were a firefighter, and I looked at all these parents that just give so much. That the misconception again is you didn't do everything right, but all these parents seem to do everything right, and these things happen. That I wanted to be a part of something like that, just because even if you don't it's not directly affecting you, even if it's not your child, somebody who has.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I don't have addiction myself. My kids don't yet. I don't want to say, they're kids. They can make those choices. Doesn't make them bad people.
They're not exempt.
They're not, and nobody's exempt.
Just because I'm doing all the right things doesn't mean they're
exactly. So I think that's the moment, the pivotal moment I decided this is everything I want to be a part of, because I know, I do have family that has had addiction issues, but I wanted to be a part of a greater cause, one that directly, all the proceeds benefit our community. Our community needs this. It's an epidemic. It could be me. And that's what's important, I think, that most our community members need to know, is it could be you. Yeah. You're not exempt, and this is something that we really need to all be actively involved in. I think Tim had, from day one, Tim's story, Tim's love and passion for what we do, I couldn't say no.
Right.
So here I am still. He stuck with me.
And I appreciate it.
He stuck with me.
Awesome.
But he brings me donuts. So how can you say no to donuts?
Well, it's we live in a world today where drugs and the things that get us in trouble are more accessible and more available and scarier and stronger than they've ever been in history. But we also live in a time today where treatment and resources and community support and all that stuff is more available and more effective than it's ever been as well. But with addiction and mental health issues, it always amazes me, maybe because I live in that world, like I'm immersed in it, and that's, all I'm talking about, is that if you just purely look at the numbers, drug use and mental health issues are by far the most pervasive and wide-reaching and most damaging issue that we have worldwide, more than anything else. But yet it's the thing that nobody wants to talk about.
Correct.
And
I think I should correct myself, because I did, as a teenager, I did have depression, which I regularly medicate to this day. So I take that back. So I can relate on the level of when I initially met with Light of Hope, I thought it was specifically drugs and specifically alcohol. And that's another something important that we should talk about too, is it is depression. It is cutting or self-harm, that we also support that as well.
Yeah.
Because we originally started just with drugs and alcohol. And what we saw as the program was really becoming effective, we'd get, with all kinds of things, we'd get a friend that would show up with their friend who's struggling with addiction and go and sit in one of our groups to support them.
And say, I need this.
I need it too, but it's not addiction, but I'm learning things that help me because I struggle with anxiety or depression, or I'm a cutter.
Right.
And pretty soon, it just started to grow from there. This community really provides the needed support for all of those areas. And it gives us a chance to really look at the individuals, give them support. And you know what? If we're not enough for some, and we aren't the fix-all for everybody, then we know we have places like the Way Out that we can refer people to get, a higher level of support, a higher level of care. So that was something when we started Light Hope that was so important to me, is I didn't want to refer anybody or give anybody places to go unless I knew the heart of those organizations, those places, the people that work there, so that I could feel comfortable if I say, go talk to Bob at the Way Out.
And we're the same way. If we're not, our commitment and our promise to Santa Clarita is that we will get you help. It may not always be with us.
Right.
It may not. You might not be the right fit for us.
Right. Absolutely.
And that's okay. But you won't leave our office without having some resources or a place to go directly to that we believe in. Right.
Yes.
And I think it's important to say that you can do multiple things at once. You don't have to just be at a Light of Hope or just be at the Way Out. You can do both, and a therapist.
And we have some families that are doing both right now between both of us.
And individual therapists and multiple things. And that's okay to do that.
Yeah, you know what? And it says something, too, about our relationship, the power of partnering together with other individuals and organizations that are working in the community, that we're stronger together.
Yeah.
We're a force multiplier. You and I can do more together than we can do separately. And there's other organizations in this community that as we, as you partner together and we connect together and get to meet each other, that we really can be supportive of each other and make what we do even more powerful and more impactful in this community.
Yeah, I agree.
I think we have
100%.
aligned a power of purpose with both organizations, that at the end of the day, that again, 100% of what we're doing is all for the same reason, the same cause. It's been nice to be able to facilitate, like, okay, well, this doesn't work over here, but maybe over here. It's been nice to be able to have options.
Yeah. Well, and at the end of the day, I think that, I can confidently say that we're all here to help people and families get better.
Absolutely.
And that's our goal, right? And so as long as we all maintain that goal, we're here to help. We're going to do that in the most kind and loving manner that we possibly can. And then we're on the same page, we're on the same page. And it's an honor for me and a privilege to any time, but especially today, you guys are incredible, to sit in a room with people who are dedicating their lives to the pursuit of making a better world and helping people. That's really, really cool, is that you guys on a daily basis are going, how can we improve this family, this person, this organization, ourselves, right? And that's a really neat thing to say. I believe that that's catching fire. I think that more people in the world are starting to want to do that.
Yes.
I think that our world is becoming more kind and loving, even though we see the other side of it, right?
Agree.
And I believe at the end of the day that our love for other human beings is what's going to win out.
Absolutely.
As long as we have donuts.
And donuts. Well, of course. I mean, that's the fuel. That's the,
You brought up the word love, and I think that's really important part of what, not only do we love what we do, but we love on those that come to us looking for help. I know you do that at the Way Out, and we definitely do that at A Light of Hope. There's a lot of people out there that are missing just love in their life, hope in their life, just somebody to say, I believe in you, you can do this, and we're here to help you make that happen in your life. And I'm passionate about it. It's what I've done for 10 years, and every time I leave a group from A Light of Hope, I go home and I just kind of look to God and say, thank you for still having me have that passion, because I get excited watching lives change, watching young people get hope and recovery and freedom in their life, and watching parents and families find hope and healing also.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Well, thank you guys very much for coming on the show today. alightofhopescv.org. Don't forget, and if you can't remember that, call me at the Way Out, 296-4444, or go to the wayoutrecoveryscv.com. It has been an amazing show. Thank you guys very much.
You are.
I'm Bob Sheritz. This is the Way Out Recovery Hour, and we will see everyone next week.